Most Land Rover owners spend hundreds of dollars every year paying shops to clean parts they could have done themselves in minutes. And it gets worse, because they also ignore the handful of components that quietly destroy engines, cook air suspension compressors, and wreck brakes when they're left dirty. And by the time a warning appears on that dashboard, the free fix has already turned into a four-figure bill. Today, we're counting down the 8 Land Rover parts you should be cleaning about every 10,000 miles to avoid those expensive repairs. Some take 5 minutes and a can of spray. One of them costs about $15 and protects a system that regularly costs owners well over $1,000. And the number one on this list could save your life. We start all the way up at number 8, your throttle body. Number 8, the throttle body. Think of the throttle body as the gatekeeper for all the air going into your engine. When you press the accelerator, a flap inside called the butterfly valve swings open and lets air rush in to mix with your fuel. Over time, oily vapor drifts back through the intake from the crankcase, mixes with fine dust, and bakes onto that flap and the bore around it as a sticky brown film. As it builds up, the flap can't seat properly, airflow gets choked, and the computer starts compensating. That's when your Discovery, Range Rover, or Sport begins idling rough, hesitating off the line, stumbling as you roll up to a junction, or feeling flat at low speed. Here's where the money gets silly. Most shops now charge well over $100 an hour for labor, and a Land Rover dealer piles more on top, so they'll happily charge you $100 to $200 to wipe down one part. Let a service advisor talk you into replacing the whole throttle body, and you're into several hundred. You can do the same cleaning with an $8 can of throttle body cleaner and a rag. One warning that matters: your Land Rover is drive-by-wire, so that flap is moved by a motor, not a cable, and forcing it open with your fingers can destroy the motor. Spray it gently and let the cleaner do the work, and never use brake cleaner on it. And a little honesty here, because owners can go overboard with this. Plenty of these engines run a very long way without obsessive throttle body cleaning, so don't let a service writer frighten you into a big bill. Once a year is plenty, and if the car has been running perfectly, you're doing it as maintenance rather than as a repair. That one saves you a fortune. But the next part comes wrapped in a myth that even good mechanics still repeat, and believing it can cost you an entire engine. Number 7, the engine air filter. Number 7 is your engine air filter, and it comes with a lie attached. You've heard it 100 times. A dirty air filter kills your fuel economy, so swap it out to save money.
It sounds about right, and on a modern Land Rover, it's dead wrong. The Department of Energy paid Oak Ridge National Laboratory to test this on real engines, and they found that on modern fuel-injected cars, a clogged air filter has essentially no effect on miles per gallon, because the computer simply trims the fuel to match the air coming in. So why bother? 2 reasons, and both matter far more than fuel. First, a dirty filter absolutely does steal your acceleration, so the car feels lazy and flat when you ask for power. Second, and this is the important one, that filter is the only thing standing between fine grit and the inside of your engine. Let it clog until it overflows, or let the edge seal deform, and that grit gets pulled straight past it, where it scores cylinder walls, chews turbo or supercharger internals, and coats the sensor sitting right behind it.
If you actually take your Land Rover off-road, or you drive gravel and dusty tracks, that interval needs to come way down from whatever the book says. Pop the airbox, lift the filter out, and hold it up to a light. If you can't see light through the pleats, it's finished. If it still looks reasonable, blow it out with compressed air from the clean side outward, which pushes debris back the way it came in rather than driving it deeper into the media. A trick a lot of owners who actually use their Land Rovers rely on is keeping a clean spare in the boot, so a long, dusty green lane never leaves them driving home on a choked filter. Good filtration genuinely shows up in an engine oil analysis, so this cheap little part is protecting the single most expensive thing you own. That protects your engine. The next one is even simpler, and on a Land Rover, it's the single biggest source of faults that were never really faults. Number 6, the battery terminals and grounds. Number 6 is sitting right on top of your battery, and hardly anyone thinks to check it. Lift the cover and look at the terminals. If you see crusty white, blue, or greenish powder creeping around them, that's corrosion, and it is quietly strangling the power coming out of your battery. Now here's why this matters more on a Land Rover than on almost anything else on the road.
These vehicles are packed with control modules, and every sensor on the car reports its readings against the same ground network that runs through those terminals and the main ground straps. Dirty connections create small voltage offsets in that reference, which means perfectly healthy sensors start feeding the computers nonsense. The result is exactly the reputation these cars have: a dashboard that lights up like a Christmas tree with suspension faults, gearbox messages, stability control warnings, and parking sensor errors, none of which are real. Owners spend fortunes chasing those gremlins when the actual problem was a 5-minute cleaning job. Disconnect the negative first. Mix a spoon of baking soda into warm water, scrub the posts and clamps with an old toothbrush. Then rinse, dry, coat with dielectric grease, and reconnect snugly. And check the main ground straps while you're down there, because a corroded ground causes identical symptoms and gets blamed on everything else. 2 more things worth knowing on a Land Rover specifically. Take 30 seconds to confirm the clamps are actually tight, because one you can twist by hand produces every symptom on that list for free. And if you ever fully replace the battery, it generally needs to be registered to the vehicle so the charging system treats it correctly. Skip that step, which plenty of quick-fit places do, and the new battery gets managed like the old dying one and fails years early, which brings all those phantom faults straight back. That fix costs pennies. The next one is buried so deep the mechanics laugh when you say you're doing it yourself. Number 5. The PCV and oil separator. Number 5 is your crankcase ventilation system, and on a Land Rover, it's the one owners forget until oil starts appearing where it shouldn't. Your engine constantly produces blow-by, which is pressure and gases slipping past the piston rings into the crankcase. The PCV system and its oil separator pull that pressure out, drain the oil back down, and route the vapor up to be burned. Here's what happens when it clogs with sludge or a diaphragm tears. That pressure has nowhere to go, so it starts pushing oil out through your seals and gaskets. You get leaks, a rough idle, oil disappearing between changes, and another warning light. Ignore it long enough, and the trapped pressure can push oil past the rear main seal, which is a gearbox-out job. Here's a free test you can do right now. With the engine idling, slowly twist off the oil filler cap. If the idle changes hard or the engine tries to stall, crankcase pressure is out of specification, and this system is your suspect. On the supercharged petrol engines, there's a bonus reason to care, because keeping the breather system clean and fitting a catch can traps oil vapor before it bakes onto the intake valves as carbon. And that carbon is what leads to a walnut-blasting bill of $800 to $1,500. Clean the hoses while you're in there too, because a clogged hose does exactly the same damage as a clogged valve, and it's the part everyone forgets. And here's the one that saves people thousands. If you're seeing oil consumption and somebody has already suggested you're looking at rings or a rebuild, check this system first. A blocked breather mimics far more expensive problems, and plenty of owners have been quoted enormous sums for what turned out to be a cheap part and an afternoon. If you enjoy this video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Number 4. The cabin air filter. Number 4 hides behind your glove box, and what surprises people is what's actually sitting in that tray. Plenty of Land Rovers are driving around with a filter so packed with debris it's turned into a solid gray brick, and a lot of owners have never touched it once because it's out of sight and nobody mentions it at a service. If yours is clogged, every mile you're pulling road dust, pollen, and the exhaust of the car in front straight into your face. You'll notice it as a musty, damp smell the moment the fan comes on, windows that fog up and refuse to clear, and vents that barely push air with the blower on maximum. Here's the one that costs real money. A huge number of owners decide their air conditioning is failing and start pricing out compressor work, when the actual problem is a filter choked so solid that almost no air can get through. The job takes about 10 minutes and no real tools. Drop the glove box past its side stops, slide the old filter out of its tray, note the airflow arrow printed on the frame, and slide a fresh one in. A shop will charge you $70 to $90 for the same 10 minutes. And if you sit in traffic or drive dusty tracks, an activated carbon version kills odors as well as catching dust. On some models, the filter comes out in 2 pieces, so don't panic if the first half doesn't clear the opening cleanly. You just work them out one at a time. And while you're in that area, it's worth knowing that a persistent damp smell that a new filter doesn't fix usually isn't the filter at all.
It's water getting in somewhere it shouldn't. And on these vehicles, that means blocked sunroof or plenum drains, which is a job worth doing before the water finds a control module. Breathing clean air is nice, but this next part is where nearly every Land Rover cleaning video gets it wrong. Number 3. The MAF sensor. Number 3 is the sensor everybody cleans wrong, your mass airflow sensor. Your Land Rover has one, sitting in the intake tube just after the airbox, and its job is to measure exactly how much air is entering the engine, so the computer can match fuel and boost precisely. Inside that housing is a hot film element finer than a human hair. Over time, dust and oil mist coat it, its resistance drifts, and it starts reading low. Your engine then runs rich, and you get hesitation, poor economy, black smoke on the diesels, a limp mode power cut, and often a P0101 code. Here's what makes it worse. A dirty sensor throws no warning light at all because it's still functioning, it's just wrong, which makes it one of the most common causes of poor running that no diagnostic code will ever point you toward. Dealers replace it, and that's a several $100 part on these vehicles. Here's the trick their own technicians use first. Use a dedicated MAF sensor cleaner. Spray it onto the element from a distance. Never touch it with a rag or a cotton swab. And never use brake or carb cleaner, because that's exactly how people destroy a good sensor. Let it dry a full 10 minutes before it sees power. And if you're running an oiled aftermarket filter, that oil coats the element, so this becomes a regular job rather than a one-time fix. Here's a free field test before you spend anything at all. If the engine actually runs better with the MAF unplugged, that sensor is feeding the computer bad data, and it's either dirty or on its way out. Because with it disconnected, the computer falls back to a default map instead of trusting a liar. And on the diesels, remember that soot from the exhaust recirculation side of the engine finds its way onto everything in the intake tract. So these sensors get dirty considerably faster than they do on a petrol car. That's one small sensor. But the next job is the biggest of them all, and it's the one that's pure Land Rover. Number 2, the cooling stack and everything underneath. Number 2 is the front of your Land Rover and the underside of it, and this is the item people forget the most. Stacked up behind that front grille, you've got a radiator, an air conditioning condenser, an oil cooler, and, on the supercharged and diesel models, a charge cooler as well. After a muddy trail, clay packs into those fins like cement. Airflow drops, and the vehicle starts running hot for no obvious reason. And here's the Land Rover-specific consequence. These engines are already sensitive to localized overheating, so choking your own cooling capacity is how you turn an afternoon of fun into a cracked head or a warped gasket. Do it before the mud dries, because trail clay bakes as hard as concrete, and once it sets in the fins, you'll never chip it out. Spray gently from the engine side outward, pushing debris back the way it came, and go easy with a pressure washer because too much force flattens the fins and makes the problem permanent. In winter, road salt clings to the underside and slowly eats it, so a simple hose down after every salty drive genuinely saves the structure. But here's the sneakiest one, and it's pure Land Rover. Your air suspension compressor has an intake filter and a dryer packed with desiccant, and its job is to keep moisture out of the system. That desiccant saturates over time. When it does, it restricts airflow, so the compressor works harder and harder and eventually overheats and burns out. Worse, degraded desiccant turns to powder and gets carried into the valve blocks, and owners describe finding white residue in a valve block and then watching the rear of the vehicles start drooping. A rebuild kit is around $50, and the desiccant itself is about $15 of silica gel. Owners who do it annually keep their compressors alive for years. Owners who never touch it buy a compressor, and then often a valve block as well, because the powder went downstream. Here's how to know yours is already struggling before it fails outright. The vehicle sits noticeably lower after being parked overnight. The compressor runs for much longer than it used to when you start up. Or you get an intermittent suspension fault that clears itself. Every one of those points at a system working too hard, and the dryer is where you look first. It is genuinely one of the highest return maintenance jobs available on any Land Rover, and it appears nowhere in the service schedule. All of that keeps your Land Rover alive. This last one keeps you alive, because when it fails, people get hurt. Number 1. The brake caliper slide pins.
And that brings us to number 1, your brake caliper slide pins. These little pins let the caliper slide back and forth so it can squeeze the pads evenly against the disc every single time you brake. From the factory, they're packed in grease and sealed inside rubber boots to stay slick. But water crossings, mud, road salt, and brake dust wash that grease out and let rust creep in. And on most vehicles, it's the rear pins that seize first because they see less heat and less work to keep them moving. Here's exactly what happens when one seizes. The caliper can't slide, so one pad jams against the disc and wears down to the bare metal backing plate while the pad on the other side barely touches at all. The vehicle starts pulling to one side under braking. You hear a chirp or a clunk, and the pad that's permanently dragging builds constant heat that warps the disc into a shudder you feel through the wheel.
Let it go, and the caliper locks up solid. And now you're buying a replacement that runs well past $700 once labor is counted. More on the models with an electronic parking brake at the rear. Do this once a year, and after any muddy or deep water trip, pull the caliper off with 2 bolts, wipe the pins with brake cleaner and a wire brush until they're bright metal, and coat them in fresh brake grease that costs about $19 a bottle. One tip from people who drive salty winters and wade regularly: use a silicone-based caliper grease, because ordinary grease washes out and dries up, while silicone stays put and shrugs off water. And if those little rubber boots are torn, replace them for a couple of dollars, because a split boot is exactly what let the water in to begin with. One real warning on the newer vehicles: the rear calipers with the electronic parking brake have to be put into service mode with a diagnostic tool before you take them apart. So read up on your specific model first. Get this one right, and you'll never have to wonder whether your Land Rover is going to stop when you really need it to. And that's the thread running through this entire list. Not one of these 8 items is difficult, none of them require special training, and together they cost less than a single dealer visit. What they have in common is that they're all the cheap end of a failure chain, and every one of those chains ends somewhere expensive. Clean them on a rhythm rather than waiting for a warning, and the vehicle that gave Land Rover its reputation for bills becomes the one that quietly keeps going.